Now, let me discuss the important topic NAT and PAT. So, what is NAT? Anyone know what is NAT? It's a very interesting topic, guys. So, we'll focus more on it. What is NAT? Anyone know?
It's a network address translation, converting private to public and public to private IP address.
Yeah, that's correct. So, NAT, what problem basically NAT is going to solve? What problem NAT is going to solve? Any idea?
Like IP related, sir. If in a LAN, if you have like 50, 60 devices and that all devices needs the IP address to communicate with outside network to the public. So that many IP address you need. But with that NAT, if you like with like there is a like one to one or many to one, some things like that. So with the help of
Mhm.
that, with like one public IP address, you can bind all your LAN subnet and you will be able to communicate so that you can that avoid that shortage of or cost. You have to pay like less cost for you can buy
Mhm.
one public IP address and with that you can do the communication with outside world.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Let me explain. 255, 255. Last 192, 168, 0.0. So these are the range of the IP address. You can see slash 16 slash 24. It's going to be slash 24. This one is going to be slash 24. Okay, leave it. Same subnet is going to be there. So the private IP range is going to be 10 dot. You can just Google it. It's going to find it. See, so private IP range is slash 8. It's going to be slash 12, 16 slash 12, and it's going to be slash 16. So this is going to be, I mentioned the wrong range here. Sorry. Let me add it here. So you just refer from here. This is a class A range 10. That is going to be 10.10.255 slash 8. This is going to be slash 12, right? 31, 255, 255. And this is going to be slash 16 from 192, 168, 192, 168, 255, 255. These are the class A, B, C private IP range. So what happened from the LAN point of view? You always going to use always this kind of the IP address and you have to go on the internet. But the problem is internet does not support the private IP address. Means any private IP, let's suppose you're just taking the 10.10.10 to 10.255, 255, 255 subnet. This IP cannot go on the internet. Means this private IP range cannot travel on the internet. So if you want to make them travel, you must have to configure some sort of the NAT, then only this IP can be travel on the internet. That's simple meaning. Means the problem is your private IP cannot reach on the internet. If anything you want to talk on the internet, you cannot talk. Let's take an example. This PC have the IP address 10.10.10.10 slash 8. This connected with the router. In between you have a switch. Now this router on the internet. So this IP never directly go on the internet. If you want to do that, you have to enable the NAT. Likewise, you can think my PC, what is my IP address? If config, you see the IP address of my device is the IP address of my device is basically, let me check what is the IP address. See, it's 11 dot. Let me switch the network adapter. It's a private IP address, but hello, hello. Hey guys, hello.
You are back online, sir.
Okay, so now you can see here. Now you can see my IP is 192.168.1.5. So this is my private IP address. And how they are reaching to internet. If I'm pinging the my google.com, see I'm able to reach that. But how it is possible? How am I reaching that? Because this PC, if we talk about this PC, this is my PC. This PC where I connected with the 192.168.1.5/24 IP address, this connected with one of the router, and these routers connected on the internet. So when my traffic is going on the router, it is doing the NAT. So my this IP is getting replaced with the public IP address. So for internet point of view, people think this will never show me this IP address. Let me show you. If you go in the internet browser and you check what is my IP address, just write this command. What is my IP address? You will see that this IP address is 192.176.104.46. It's not showing any private IP address. So in short, whatever the private IP address you have, that private IP address always going to connect. And then after only you're going to reach on the internet. If there is no private IP address, you cannot reach on the internet. Means there is no public IP address, you cannot reach on the internet. That is simple logic. So in our case, let's suppose these devices want to reach on the internet, like this PC. Let me open this again because I lose the connectivity. This PC want to reach the internet. Then how NAT is going to happen? What type of NAT is going to required? This PC want to reach on the internet. Then what NAT is going to be required? And where I have to configure the NAT. So NAT is going to be this router. This is my NAT router. So I will use this only 3 routers. Let me open this one as well for testing point of view. So NAT have the 3 flavors in Cisco. Okay. So in Cisco, if you talk about NAT have a 3 flavors. If you talk about the Cisco NAT, the very first thing is static NAT. It's going to do the source address translation. Source address translation. Another we have is a dynamic NAT. It's also SNAT, source NAT translation. Right? Third one is going to be PAT. It's also source NAT translation. So there are only 3 flavors available for just doing the source NAT. Anything you want to go on the internet, you just have to do the source NAT, and based on that, you can go on the internet. So what is happening in the static? Static is basically if you have the one private IP address in the LAN and you want to go on the internet. So it's required 1-to-1 mapping. Means one private IP address with one public IP address. If you have the 1,000 private IP address, you need to map 1,000 public IP address. Okay, this is the static. So 1-to-1 mapping. Second flavor we have dynamic. Dynamic is basically it's a many to many mapping. Means what we have to do that you have to create a pool. There is a pool where the private IP is going to come and take a free public IP address and go on the internet. That is a dynamic. Means many to many. Many source is going to come and take many, or we can just say not many to many. It's not a correct word. You can just say many to one. But if you're going to say many to one, then it's going to be pure PAT. So it's not correct. Many means many public IP is there, many private IP is coming, and they're just taking the free IP address going on the internet. So that's correct. Many to many, that's the pool is there going to be available. But whenever you talk about the PAT, it's going to many to one. Means thousands IP address are going to translate it on the single one public IP address. So difference between the static NAT, when you're going to configure static NAT, your company need to purchase, let's suppose you have a 10,000 employee, you need to purchase 10,000 public IP address. And at the same time, you have to configure 10,000 line of the configuration. So it's very, very complex. Means one to one, you have to do all the configurations one to one. So you have to enter thousands line of the configuration. So what problem they have? The first problem they have, static NAT is a cost. And second have the config complexity. Config complex. That is challenge with NAT. Means first time you have to purchase the IP. That is one thing. And also IP is not free. Okay. Even you're going to ask 10,000 IP address, you have to give justification why you need, because IP are limited. And even you have a lot of money, you cannot purchase all the IP address and you can do the black marketing. No. You have to give your all justification why basically you are looking for and what is the idea behind it. And based on that, they are going to allow the IP address. If you're not given to give the justification, they will not allow the IP address. So that is going to be your static. Dynamic is again with the same problem. If you're going to dynamic one, again you have a 10,000 employee, you require 10,000 public IP address. Okay. So the cost is going to remain same. The first problem is going to remain same here. But second problem, it's easy to manage. Configuration is going to be just one line. It's not you have to create the multiple line and based on that you just go and do the NAT. No, it's not like going to like that. You just do one line configuration, create a pool, and then after it is going to be do the translation. PAT is basically port address translation. PAT is port address, means let me clear that. If you most of the time you're going to use the PAT. So PAT is basically port address translation. What happened? Dynamic static use IP to IP translation, but in the PAT, if you have 10,000 IP address, you can do translation on single public IP address. Single public IP address. Let's suppose this is your 123.10.10.1 and they will go on the internet. So how it is possible? So they use the not only IP, they use the IP plus port number for NAT. So every client is coming, they are getting the same IP address for translation with different port number. Might be some is getting 123.10.10.1 and port number is going to be 4000. Give me the example. Some is coming 123.10.10.10.1, port number 3000. So everyone is getting a different ports and then they're going on the internet. That is known as the your PAT. Is it clear? So we have to test these all things. And there are a lot of other concepts as well. Let me show you. If you go on the slide, let me show you. So if you go in the translation, so anything coming like source IP address going on the destination outside. And the terminology for the Cisco is inside and outside. So inside is basically your LAN network. Outside is your WAN network. So inside local is basically your inside company LAN network, right? Inside global is basically your company router connected public IP address. Means in organizations, let's suppose any internet link is terminating on that internet, what is the IP address? That is known as the inside global address. All right. So there is always going to term inside local, inside global, and you can see here more things. So this is my source IP address. This is my source IP inside local. Okay. So any IP address coming from the LAN, this is considered as the inside local, but the address they are going to translate it, that is known as the inside global, means it's the outside IP address. Okay. Now we have the more term as well. Okay. Outside local and outside global, you might be going to find. So inside local is going to be your on IP address and inside global, outside global and inside global, always the same IP address. Inside global is going to be your on IP address. Outside global is the actual server IP address where you are going to hit that. So let me summarize. Might be one have PPT. Hold on. Okay, let me use the book. That's going to be very easy to understand. Where is the book? Oh my God, I closed the book. I closed the book. Hold on, guys. How can I close the book? So you have to understand inside local, inside global. These are all things. So services, IP services, and go in the NAT topology. So NAT. So you see here, there is a concept inside local. Okay. Inside global, outside local, outside global. So in any situations, the address you are going to configure. See, this is the inside local, like inside global, outside local, outside global. So what is the outside local? What is the outside global? There is one PPT, but some reason it's not available here. But let me explain from here. So inside local is basically your actual private IP address. So in our topology, this is my inside local IP address. These two are inside local. Okay, clear? I hope it is clear. Inside global, the public IP address represent one or more inside local IP. Means this is the your WAN IP address, which is going to the internet. That is the inside global. Means the LAN going to be translated, your actual translated IP address on which you are doing the translation from your LAN point of view. Means exit point IP address. So that is going to known as the inside global. So I hope these two are clear. Now talk about the outside global. Outside global is the actual IP of the server. Let's suppose they want to access the DNS server 8.8.8. Is a public IP address, Facebook server, right? You want to access the Google server. So those are going to act as a outside global address. Means anything going on the internet, that is going to outside global. Clear? These three clear? Everyone? Badalian, Dinesh, Sridhar? I hope this is clear, right? Now we left with the last one, outside local. This is always going to be confusing. What is the outside local? So outside local is nothing. It's equivalent to your inside local, means inside global address. Inside global is going to be always refer as the outside local. So if you read it here, the IP address of the outside host, it's appear to the inside network, right? The IP address does not have to be reachable by the outside, but it consider private and must reachable by the inside network. So this IP is generally we use that NATed IP address. Whatever the NAT IP address we have, that's going to be my outside local IP address. Okay. So if you go here, let me show the topology also. Might be you're going to find here. I will show you after doing this configuration. See here. So inside global, your public IP address. Inside local, your private IP address. Outside global, you can check here. It's a so let me verify topology. I will show you. This is going to be same. This is my different topology. Okay, that's why it's showing that. So it's going to be same IP address. Whatever I'm going to use that. And if you go here, there are three type of NAT: static NAT, dynamic NAT. So this is the pool-based NOC dynamic, and this is going to be your PAT. So let me do one by one configuration: static NAT, dynamic NAT. Then we'll do the remaining configurations step by step. So when I do the static NAT configuration, sorry guys. So if I'm doing the static NAT configuration, these two PC want to go on the internet. So right now, if I'm going the my R1 router and show IP NAT translation, you see there is no IP translation is happening. But I have two PCs, this one and this one. I want to do translation to go on the internet. So how I can do that? Very first thing, guys, you have to go on the configuration. This interface is going to put in the IP NAT side, NAT outside. So go on the internet, Ethernet 0 by 1 and put IP NAT outside. This is the very first command. So you just have to wait a little bit. When you configure this NAT, it will take a little bit time. Okay, now this is done. Now second interface. This is 0 by 0. This is going to be your IP NAT inside. So you can see this is the configuration I have done. You can see inside and this is the outside. This command is not needed. I can remove this. You guys can also remove that. It's taking by default, but it's not needed. IP virtual reassembly. I can go 0 by 1 as well. And now let me check it's removing or not to verify. Yeah, not sorry, not removing. So we have to survive with this command. I just put the no IP, but earlier it was IP. So it's removed, but it's not supporting IP virtual reassembly here. Now, I want to do the NAT, static NAT, means two PC require two public IP address. So I need to get public IP address from the ISP. So we are the ISP and we have /24 pool. So I will take, let's see, one is configured here and two is configured here. Two public IP address has been used. So I cannot use one or two for the translation. I use like 10, 11 from the same subnet 123.10.10.0/24. So I will take two public IP address from this pool and I will configure the NAT. So I will go here and configure it IP NAT inside, and then I will use the source static. And what is the source IP address for my case? This is the 192.168.192.168.10.10, and which IP address I want to translate. So inside global IP address. So you have to use the inside global. You have to take the public IP address. Static NAT, you have to purchase the public IP address for the one-to-one translation. So I want to use the IP address. This IP address nowhere configured. It's a NAT base IP address only. Just 10. And I will configure one more thing, 11, and this is going to be on this. Now, so you can say show IP NAT translation. See, there is a inside local, inside global. What is that? Your public IP address. Inside local, it's a private, but outside global or outside local, it's a free right now because there's no NAT translation is going to happen. But you can see if you check the include NAT, this command I configure on the in LAN interface. This is my WAN interface, and these are my static NAT. So now let me start doing the communication. If I will go on this PC and try to ping 8.8.8. So this is my very first thing. You can see it's pinging. Very good. If I go here as well and try to ping 1.1.1, it's pinging. Now you go here and try to run this command. See here. See here, guys. So my NAT translation is start happening, and what is happening here? That is a very important. Let's focus on inside global address. This is your private IP address. Clear? Inside local address. Sorry, not this is the global is a public IP address. Sorry for that. 123. This is the inside global is the public. Inside local is your private IP address. Now here you see that outside local and outside global. As I mentioned that it's going to be actual server IP address. That's going to be always your actual server IP address. So this is my actual server IP address. So we just have to consider inside local is your actual LAN machine IP address. Inside global is your public IP address. And this is the outside local, global is a server IP address, which is you going to access that. So you just have to remember outside local or outside anything outside, it's the actual server IP address. So this is the static NAT. You can see the NAT has been done. This translation has been done. And now again, they flush the translations. Why? We're not doing the ping. So the moment you ping, then it will start doing the translation. See, it will start doing the translation again. Clear this one? It's very easy, right, guys? So in static, you just have to create the one-to-one interrupt. Now you want to remove this and you want to configure the dynamic pool. So dynamic pool, you just have to remove this one. Let me remove this one. Let me remove this one as well. See, I'm not able to remove. Why? Because we have the translation entry. So clear IP NAT translation. Now it is going to clear. And now you go and try to remove that again. Okay, now it's done. So you can just check it. Whenever you have the NAT translation entry available, you cannot remove the any kind of the configuration. So now we are done, right? This command is still needed. Now I'm going to do the dynamic NAT means you have to create a pool. So to create a pool, we have to match our LAN subnet in one of the ACL. Then I need to create a pool of my public IP address, and then automatically when user is going to come, it will take the free IP address and it will go on the internet. But in a static, you have to do manually one by one for the all IP address. Whatever the IP address you have to do that all IP address, and then only it is going to internet. So how I can do that? So to do that, I need to create one of the access list. Give me 1 second. So I will go here and I will configure access list. I can put the access list 10 and permit I will give the 1 into this is my subnet 1 into 168.10.0 and I'll give the wildcard and I'll give the logs. This is my ACLs. That is my LAN subnet ACL. Okay, this is my LAN subnet ACL. After that, I will create one of the pool IP NAT pool go in it, right? Lab. And I'll give the pool on which I want to do a translation. So I want to do a translation from this subnet. So I will use 100 to 50 IP address. Because we are the same ISP, so I will use the pool like 123.10.10.100, 123.10.10.150, net mask going to be 255, 255. So it's going to take a pool from this range. This is the LAN, this is the pool. Now we have to club this together, means ACL plus pool. So they will do the translation. So now I will go here and run IP NAT, and this is going to be inside, and source list is going to be your source list is ACL. It's going to be 10. And which pool I want to use? That is a GUINET lab pool. Done. So this is your final configuration of NAT this time. And this is a dynamic NAT. You creating there is a ACL as well. Show run section access list. This is the access list. Your IP NAT, this is the IP NAT pool, GUINET lab, 123.10.10.100. This is the 150, net mask is this one. And this is the IP NAT source list, pool GUINET. And this is my actual like LAN subnet. Now, if you do the NAT translation is going to happen from this range. Earlier, it was the one-to-one. It was happening from this range only. 10 or 11 was IP. But now it will take any random IP from this available pool. So let me initiate the NAT again here. Ping. I initiate the ping here as well. And you go here, show IP NAT translation. Okay. Something wrong. Okay, first let me check. show IP NAT translation. Source list 10. What wrong I make that? The pool is 10.10./24. Let's select swipe access list 192.168. IP NAT inside source list. Pool GUINET, right? The access list is 10. That's correct. IP NAT pool GUINET lab. Net mask is correct, right? Config is correct. Give me 1 second, right? Let me verify with the configuration. Okay, static is 1-to-1 that we have tested. Now, okay, static. This we understand. Pool NAT, okay. So IP access list is standard ACL NAT capable. And same process I have done, right? Inside, outside, IP NAT pool. Okay. It should support, right? IP access list standard is a NAT and permit this one, okay? Let me try with this one. But this says show IP access list. Show run interface 88/0/0. This is correct. 011 is also correct. Show IP access list 10. One 192.168 10.10. Show run include NAT. IP NAT pool GUINET. Okay. Let me make the different pool. Okay. Prefix length /24. So IP NAT translation. No, it's not supporting. IP NAT inside source. Same thing we are using here. IP NAT inside source list. Okay, that's correct. IP NAT inside IP NAT inside source list and pool. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me remove this all again. Let me remove. Why it's not working? I'm not sure. Config is 100% correct. Okay. So IP NAT pool. Let me put lab. Okay, 123. IP NAT pool lab. Okay, I'll give the IP address. Let me give the few IP address only this time. 10.10. Let's suppose 12. 123 10.10.15. Okay, its length plus 24 networks also going to support, right? And then that is the IP NAT inside source list, and it's going to be ACL number is going to be my 10. And then pool, I'm going to use the lab. Okay. No. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. Let me restart this router. I will configure as per the book as well. I don't know why it's not supporting. It should work. It's not a big issue. I'm coming in 1 minute, okay? Just stay there. All right, so let me check one more time. Should work. All right, so let me check show run include NAT. Okay, inside outside is there. Now I'll go here and configure uh access list. Let me configure the book standard, okay? And I will configure this exact same thing. I'm not going to change anything. I will just change the. This is another method of ACL configuration. I will change the network. Is a permit is going to be my LAN network. So permit 192.168.10.0. It's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Exit. We done this. All right. Now what next? This inside outside already configured. We can let verify that. Do show run interface. Ethernet 0 by 0. It's inside. Okay. 0 by 1 should be the outside. Also working. Now I will configure this one. This pool. So I will use this pool and give that only change 10.10 dot, let's suppose 12 and 123.10.10.15 prefix going to be /24. So this is going to my IP address, right? Now I will use this last command. So list is this one, pool is this one. So I will go here and do this configuration. Now it's 100% same configuration. Show IP NAT translation. Oh, now it's working. So might be restart was the only issue. Config was 100% correct. What I was done, that is also 100% correct. And you can see this is again doing the NAT translation. So probably might be after restart, my configuration also work because the configuration was no any difference. I was just doing the same configuration. Only the method of ACL was defining is different. Here is a standard ACL, but I was also defining the standard ACL with the number, not named. So ACL can be named in number, but I was doing with a number, but it was not working for any reason. But you can see now NAT is happening. And if I'm going here, it's pinging. If I'm going here, also should pingable. And you can see the NAT translation. So this is the dynamic NAT. Clear, guys? You can just, you have to give the pool and then after it is going to do a translation. Last but not least, the very important is your PAT. PAT is basically, let me show you. So in NAT, you go here, there is 3 commands. So PAT is not required this pool. So if you just clear IP NAT translation and put this, just clear it and then you delete this command. It's not needed, this one. This one is not needed. Okay. This one also not needed. But what is it needed? Do show access list. This ACL is needed, right? This ACL is needed. So we have the ACL because again we have to use the ACL to match the source traffic. So how I can define the PAT? PAT is very easy. PAT is basically every LAN is coming. They all must be translated on this WAN interface. Single IP. That is a ETS 0/1. Everything is going to be translated on the single IP address. So I will go here and define that IP NAT inside source. And then after I will give the list name. And what is the list name? ACL NAT capital. Okay. You can give any list. And then after I will go and define the interface. Which interface I want to do the translation? Ethernet 0/1. And then I will use the overload command. This overload command is going to be just do all translation on the single IP address. That is my WAN IP address. And that's all. You can see show IP NAT translation. You're not able to see any translation, but let me initiate the translation now again. See, even this PC is getting translated on which IP address? This PC is translating on the 123, this source 11. But you go here as well and try to translate this one. This is also going to translate the same IP address. See? So your 10 is also translating on the same IP address 123.10.10.1. Your 11 is also getting translated on the, so any user is coming from the LAN, they all are going to be translated on the single IP address in the PAT, and that is going to be your WAN IP address because we are using the WAN interface for the translation. So this is all about NAT, guys, and you should know about it. You can refer this all thing available in the book as well, and you just go, and if you forget the configuration, you can do the configuration here. Just watch the recording and you can see same thing, it's happening and translation is happening, and they're going to do that translation. One more thing, if you go and check the translation, they are the port based translation. You can see there is a different port for doing the translations. So it's going to take IP plus port both, and then translation is going to happen. And you go down, and that's all, right? You can just review the exam point of view. Okay, so any questions? All good, Sridhar, Battalion, Dinesh. I hope it's easy to understand. There is a glitch for the dynamic NAT, but I believe Sridhar,
Yes, sir. Yes. Got it.
okay, thank you. Now let's discuss on theory part. Okay.